Happy Friday. Do you remember where you were this day 18 years ago? Well, I do. I remember it really, really vividly. It obviously was the 10th of November 2005. And at this exact moment, I was heading towards the Greville Arms Hotel in Mullingar for the auction of a factory building. And I owned 50% of this building. And I was terrified. I needed to get as much money for the building as possible because when I'd moved to Mullingar in 1998, we'd sold our home in Dublin and I had no home for myself and my 3 kids. I was now separated and it was imperative for me that we got as much money as possible in the auction so I could actually buy a family home, because at that stage I was completely exhausted, having worked my heart out in the factory. It was a sock factory, and I'd worked my heart out carrying bags all over Europe, week in, week out, and I was completely burnt out. And I didn't know how I was going to keep going, but I needed to get enough money to make sure I'd have a home for my kids. And when the gavel actually fell, about, I don't know, 3 hours later or 2 hours later, I don't know, the time just went away from me. There were only 2 women in the room and all the eyes of all the men in the room were on me. And it was the biggest game of poker I ever played in my life. I had to stay absolutely without flinching and without giving anything away, because I had my mind on a price that I knew was possible and I had to keep it there. And luckily there'd been a board meeting and I knew the guys on the board also had their mind on that price. And so when the gavel fell, we actually had 1 million more than the private price that had been offered to us. And it actually meant that this day, 18 years ago, for a very short period of time, I became a millionaire. And initially that was great, and within a year I turned 40, my business had started by itself. I felt so secure, I felt like there was magic in my life. I moved into this house, and then within a year or two the whole struggle started all over again. And so the reason I'm telling that story is that I know what's possible when we use our minds very powerfully. And I also know what's possible when a couple of people get together with the same intention and the same belief, focused on the same outcome. I also know what's possible then, because I physically had the proof of that. I live in the proof of that every single day. And so that's part of what I actually live every day, and it's also what I share in my work. And so I suppose for me now, I feel, and I realised this morning, it's 18 years, so it's 2 cycles of 9. And I also did the numerology. It's a 1 day in numerology, so it's a new beginnings day. And I was going, okay, I understand now what I need to do, because basically I feel it's time for another new beginning for me. And I've been saying it, and I've been talking about going to Paphos in Cyprus. And so I know back in 2019, when I did 321 Focus at one time, I actually shared my personal 321 story, and my goal starting out that 321 was to earn enough money to end up with a car again. But interestingly enough, I didn't earn the money, but the car was gifted to me. And I suppose that's what it's all about as well, is that, you know, our job is to focus on what we want, and the how, get out of the way and let the how look after itself. So I've decided that this time round, like 321 Focus is starting again next week for the 20th time. And I have decided that I'm going to share my journey again this time round. And it's a bit scary, because this time what I want to do is I want to move from San Antonio, which is what I named my home when I moved in here. So I want to move from San Antonio to Paphos, and I want to use 321 as my vehicle. Because interestingly enough, when I went to Cyprus a couple of weeks ago for work and research and some pleasure, the taxi that brought us from the house to the bus to go to the airport was I'm not saying the beginning of it, WH321, and I've spoken to the taxi driver again when I went the other day to get myself a new journal down in Fagan Stationers. There she was, and I explained to her that I had this course called 321, and then yesterday as I went to drive uptown, the car in front of me pulled out of the way, and I realised the same taxi was in front of me again. I was going, this is no coincidence. 321 is the vehicle to bring me forward. And also when I was in Cyprus, I have a photograph taken beside a car in the buffer zone in the middle of Nicosia, 321 on it, and people were also talking about 321 over there because some of the team in Cyprus, the team we were visiting and working with, they've also done 321 and found it really helpful. So I'm going to share my journey. Basically, I suppose if I'm to set my intention, and I've got my intention set in the front of the journal here now, because this is the one that everybody sets when they set their journal up. I now have my perfect 321 focus experience with outcomes better than my wildest dreams. And I suppose for me, the outcome I'd really love is that I find a way to either sell, but ideally actually rent my house out, keep a space in the house for myself so that I have the flexibility to come back, but that it gives me the opportunity to try out Cyprus or wherever else I want to go and see, I suppose, where the wind takes me for a while. Because as I've shared before, you know, I'm on the countdown to 60. I think I'm around 900 days or something now, 57 and a half, and counting. And I'm just conscious, as a friend put it to me a few weeks ago, they're taking people out of our pen now. And it's like, do you know what, if I don't get busy living, I'm going to end up back in that space I was when I separated in the first place, which was, if I'm not careful, I'm going to wake up dead and realise I missed the point, or that I missed a lot of fun, and that wouldn't be good at all. So if you want to join me for this journey, I think I'm going to share a video or two a week. I can't stand shoulds. I don't want to put I have to, you know, tick boxes and stuff over this, but I'm going to share this journey. I'll be very honest about it, which is terrifying, because there are some things that really I'm not comfortable about. I have already booked an auctioneer to come and do a walkthrough on the house on the 20th, because by having that deadline, I know I'll start getting things organised, and then I'll be much clearer about what needs to be sorted. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. If you want to be on this journey with me, see how it turns out, I'd love to have you here. You know, I'm always saying reading the recipe book never bake the cake. So if you want to get involved and do 321 for yourself, that's fantastic. But also, I suppose from my point of view, I'm going, you know what, I really believe in 321. And I think it's like one of those bake-off shows. It's like the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and I'm going to show you what the pudding looks like. Warts and all, hopefully it won't get burnt or ruined or whatever. But anyway, who knows? Who knows what this journey is about? And maybe you're going to see me eating a lot of humble pie here as well. End of the bakery jokes. So look, I'm just going to pull a card here now to end this. I know there's a card in my mind that sums up where I want to go, and I'll see if it comes out or not now. I welcome change, which is definitely what I need to do, scary and all as it is. And today is my perfect new start. I mean, how good is that? That's so perfect. And then who can help and support me? And that's exactly what needs to happen. I'm a magnet for happy surprises, and I know when you expect the happy surprises, they show up. But the card I was really looking for is the one that says, and I pulled it for somebody else yesterday, what do I want to be when I grow up? On one side, but on the other side it actually says, I welcome the life and the lifestyle that bring out the very best of me. And that's the card that I think that's kind of my setting my sat nav. If I can welcome the life and the lifestyle that bring out the very best in me, I think that would be a guiding star. So look, hope you have a lovely weekend, and if you want to be on this journey with me, I'd love you to like, share, follow, subscribe, and if you want to do 321 yourself, there'll be details to sign up yourself, and who knows where you can go as well. But I am going to see if 321 can bring me from San Antonio to Paphos. Chat to you soon. Take care. Bye.